Welcome to this training module on the Husqvarna V500 series stand-on mower. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we'll introduce you to the mower, its parts, and its functions. We'll also talk about how to use the mower properly and safely. The stand-on mower is exactly what it sounds like. It's a versatile grass mower that puts the operator in a vertical or standing position. You can also walk behind the mower if you choose to, or if that's the best approach in a given situation. The V500 is a zero-turn mower, meaning that it's capable of a 360-degree turn within its own footprint. It's an agile and supremely maneuverable machine designed to cut large, open grass plots efficiently. While this training session will provide a good overview, you should first read the owner's manual before operating the mower. If you have questions, be sure to ask your supervisor and don't take risks. If you're not sure about something, ask. Let's take a quick look at the basic parts of the V500. Here we see the steering controls, including the operator presence control or left steering control. Speed control bar, which helps the operator manage ground speed. Hydraulic release lever, which allows the mower to be moved when not running. Fuel tank. Fuel tank cap. Fuel shutoff valve. Throttle control, which regulates engine speed. Choke control. Fuel gauge. Service meter. Ignition switch. Blade switch, which engages and disengages the mower blades. Battery. Transport latch, which locks the deck at transport height when the deck lift lever is pulled back. Parking brake. Deck lift lever. Safety is vitally important when using the Husqvarna V500 or any other mower. This includes operating and servicing the machine properly. But you should also understand the personal protective equipment that should be used with the V500. Recommended PPE includes ear protection, eye protection, and safety boots or other approved footwear. Your boots should have non-slip soles and tied laces. Steel toe caps are recommended. And, if you need to handle the blades, always wear gloves. You should also be sure to wear proper clothing when you operate the mower. Don't wear baggy clothing or anything with loose sleeves or strings. These can get caught up in the mower's moving parts and injure you quickly and seriously. You should also wear long pants. Shorts leave your lower legs more vulnerable to debris that might fly up from the grass during mowing. The V500 uses unleaded gasoline. Make sure you put the right fuel in the mower or you could seriously damage the engine. Always fuel up the machine outside on even ground. If the mower is on a truck bed, take it off the truck to fuel. Do not fuel the machine indoors. Gas fumes and spilled gas can be toxic and are a potential fire hazard. Always be sure to keep the machine away from any type of open flame or spark when fueling, including lit cigarettes. Also, do not fuel the machine when the engine is hot. If you're in the middle of a job and need to add fuel, give the mower some time to cool down before you fill it up, or you might burn yourself on the hot mower components or damage the mower. To add fuel, make sure the engine is off and the parking brake is engaged. If the machine has been running, remove the fuel cap slowly and carefully to release any pressure in the tank. Add fuel carefully and slowly so you don't spill any on the unit or the ground. Keep the nozzle in contact with the rim of the fuel tank at all times. It's important to leave some space in the tank when you fuel it up. As the mower works and heats up, the gas in the tank will heat up as well and expand. Leave room to accommodate the expanding liquid. If you do spill fuel, clean it up immediately using an approved oil soak product. Make sure you clean it off of the mower before operating the mower again. And if you spill on your clothes, change them. Spilled fuel is highly flammable and a serious safety risk. Do not start the mower near spilled fuel. Now that the mower is fueled, you can start it up. To start the mower, move the throttle lever to the mid-throttle position. If the engine is cold, pull the choke control up. Press in and turn the ignition key to the start position. Do not run the starter for more than 5 seconds each time. If the engine does not start, wait approximately 10 seconds before trying again. When the engine starts, immediately release the ignition key back to the run position. If you pulled out the choke control to start a cold engine, push the choke control knob back in again. Next, set the engine speed with the throttle. Allow the engine to run at a moderate speed, approximately mid-throttle, for a short time before use. You'll switch to full throttle when moving. To shut off the engine, come to a complete stop and then disengage the mower deck by pushing the blade switch down. If the mower has been running for a while, let it idle for a short time so it can come down to a normal operating temperature. Next, engage the parking brake. Make sure the steering controls are in the neutral position, and then release the OPC lever. Move the throttle to the minimum position. Finally, turn the ignition key to the stop position, and remove the key. Never leave the key with the mower unattended. Steering. The 2 steering control levers drive the mower. The left lever controls the left wheel, and the right lever controls the right wheel. If you're a first-time user, try walking behind the mower with the standing platform in the upright position. It's a safer way to get a feel for the machine and mowing effectively. To go straight, gently press the steering control levers forward together. To stop, ease the steering control levers back to the neutral position. The mower can pick up speed quickly, so be careful when you're learning to do this. Practice in an open space and make sure there are no people or obstacles nearby. To go backwards, gently pull the steering control levers behind the neutral position. You should avoid going backwards unless absolutely necessary. If you must go in reverse, go slowly. Be careful, and always make sure to look down and behind before and while operating in reverse. If you want to turn right while going forward, pull the right steering control lever back towards the neutral position. This will slow the rotation of the right wheel, causing the mower to turn. If you want to turn left while going forward, pull the left steering control lever back towards the neutral position. The V500 is capable of a zero turn, which basically means it can spin 360 degrees in its own footprint. You can perform a zero turn by gently pulling one lever back while moving the other lever slightly forward. To zero turn to the right, push the left steering control lever forward and pull the right steering control lever back. To zero turn to the left, push the right steering control lever forward and pull the left steering control lever back. Zero turns are an advanced and potentially dangerous maneuver. If you're too aggressive with the controls, the mower could turn very quickly, possibly causing you to lose your balance and control. Be careful when you attempt a zero turn. Practice your zero turns slowly and safely. Mowing. It's important to survey your site before you start mowing. Long grass can hide rocks, debris, and other objects that can get in the way and cause damage. You won't always find everything, but it's important to scout the terrain before you begin. Make sure no one is near the mower when engaging the blades and that the mowing area is clear of bystanders and vehicles. After doing a site check, our operator prepares to begin mowing. He's started the engine as we've discussed. At the moment, the parking brake is still engaged. The operator moves the throttle control to full throttle and then engages the OPC. Now, he releases the parking brake. The parking brake is found on the right side of the control console. Pull the lever back to engage the brake and push forward to release it. Next, the operator engages the mowing deck by pulling the blade switch up. Finally, he grasps the speed control bar and steering controls to begin mowing. On a side note, if you're mowing in reverse, use the smaller bar at the rear of the console. If grass is long, you may want to cut it twice, once at a higher setting, and then again at a lower setting, until you get the cut you want. When mowing a large area, start by turning the mower right. This way, grass clippings won't blow onto roads, sidewalks, or flower beds. After 2 or 3 rounds, you can switch to the opposite direction. Obviously, different sites will have different landscaping features. You may have to adjust your pattern to avoid spraying clippings on them. It's generally not a good idea to mow wet grass. The mower's wheels may sink into the soft grass, which could cause clumps that may stick to the underside of the mower. Slopes and hills. Mowing on slopes and hills can lead to accidents if not performed properly. In fact, you shouldn't use the V500 on slopes greater than 10 degrees. The mower is very heavy, over 1,000 pounds, and steep slopes, dips, or ruts can cause it to tip over and result in serious and even fatal injuries. If you're uncomfortable mowing on a slope, do not mow it. Speak to your supervisor for guidance. Again, it's important to do a site inspection before you mow a slope. Look for holes, ruts, obstacles, or drop-offs that might cause problems. Always mow across slopes, not up and down. Mow at a slow ground speed so you don't have to stop. Avoid stopping, starting, and turning on a slope. Do not make fast or sudden changes in speed or direction. Also, avoid mowing wet slopes because the wheels may lose traction and you could slide. If you lose traction, disengage the blades and continue slowly down the slope in a straight line. If stopping is absolutely necessary, pull the steering controls into the neutral position, push them forward to begin moving forward again. Finally, don't mow near drop-offs, ditches, or embankments. If you feel uncomfortable, avoid using the V500 on them altogether. Using the Husqvarna V500 is the same as using any other stand-on mower. It takes practice, and you should be extremely careful until you become comfortable operating the machine. It will take time to get the feel of the controls, steering, and speed. Go slowly and learn to use the mower safely, with help from your supervisor. It's important for the operator to make sure the mower is in good working condition before each use. Look for wear on wheels and other parts, and check that all the nuts and bolts are tight. Pay special attention to blade attachments. Stop and do an inspection if you run over or into anything. Do not operate if a safety device is not working correctly. Also, check the discharge guard before each use, as well as the parking brake. You will also want to check the engine oil. Ask your supervisor to show you the procedure. Be sure to wait until all moving parts come to a stop and the machine cools down before checking engine oil on the job. In most cases, you won't be required to do the maintenance on the mower. But if you need to do repairs at any point, make sure the engine is turned off. It's a good idea to clean grass clippings and dirt off of the machine after every use. Make sure the engine is turned off when you do this too. Do not spray water on the top of the mower deck. Instead, use compressed air to clean the top side of the mower. You can use water with normal water pressure on the underside of the deck. Do not use a high-pressure washer or steam cleaner. Make sure the mower deck is raised into the transport position when cleaning. And avoid spraying the engine and any electrical components with water. Finally, do not rinse hot surfaces with cold water. If the mower has been running and is hot, let it cool down before you clean it. You must be very careful when transporting and loading or unloading the V500. Work with a partner whenever you can. You should also be sure to use an approved trailer to transport the machine. Fasten the mower down with approved devices such as bands, chains, or straps at the tie-down points on the mower. Remember to turn off the fuel supply when transporting the mower. Load the unit onto your truck or trailer by reversing up ramps of sufficient strength using a slow speed. Do not lift the mower. The V500 is not meant to be lifted by hand. When loading or unloading the mower, don't use more than the maximum recommended operation angle of 10 degrees. The V500, like all power equipment, can be dangerous if you don't use it properly. The blades move very fast and can potentially cause serious, even fatal injuries. Safety requires good judgment, careful use in accordance with the operator's manual and safety instructions, and common sense. Anyone who uses the mower should respect it and be careful. We'll approach safety in terms of 3 areas: personal hazards, bystander hazards, and property hazards. Personal hazards. We define a personal hazard as any hazard that can cause injury to you personally. Your personal safety starts with the personal protective equipment we discussed earlier in this module. Make sure you have what you need to protect yourself. Also, make sure you pay attention as you mow. It can be easy to get lost in the rhythm of the work, and you might not notice a rock, hole, or other obstructions in the way. Stay focused and don't go too fast. It only takes a second for something to happen that might completely change your life for the worse. Remember to be gentle with steering. If you are too aggressive with the steering controls, the machine can turn very quickly and potentially damage the customer's property or injure the operator. Do not make adjustments to the mower unless it is turned off and the parking brake is engaged. Also, always keep your hands and feet away from rotating blades, the underside of the machine, and the discharge opening. Again, it only takes a second for an accident to happen. Do not run the mower indoors or in spaces without ventilation. The exhaust fumes contain carbon monoxide, which is an odorless, colorless, and potentially lethal gas. When mowing, be aware of tree branches or brush that might hit you in the face. Always wear your eye protection. Finally, remember that the engine and exhaust system can become very hot during operation. Let the machine cool down before refueling, making adjustments, or transport. Bystander hazards. Bystander hazards are hazards that might hurt people around you. First and foremost, watch for people, whether they are coworkers, clients, or bystanders as you work. People can appear very suddenly and without warning. The V500 can also move quickly, which might not leave you a lot of time to avoid a collision. Your ear protection and the engine noise may also make it hard to hear what's going on around you. So keep your eyes open and stay alert when operating the mower. Pay particular attention to children. Children are sometimes interested in machines and might approach you. Even if the mower is not running, be careful. The blades are sharp and the engine can be hot. Keep children away from the machine and out of the mowing area. The blades can also throw heavy or sharp objects like rocks and debris. This is another good reason to keep a safe distance from your coworkers and other bystanders. It's also one of the reasons why we do a sight check before we start. It may seem obvious, but it's worth reminding you that the V500 is a one-person mower. Never attempt to take riders or passengers on the machine. Passengers can unbalance the mower and impact its stability. Passengers can also lose their balance and fall off the mower. Again, respect the machine and recognize the danger. Property hazards. Property hazards are hazards that might damage property, including the mower. Again, debris thrown by mower blades is a primary hazard in this case. You can damage nearby vehicles, break windows, or tear up gardens with rocks or other objects. Be on the lookout for debris in your mowing path. You can also damage terrain if the cutting height is too low or you go over a dip or bump. The V500 is equipped with anti-scalp rollers to protect property from scalping, but you should still make every effort to protect your customer's property. If you need to adjust the anti-scalp rollers, ask for help from a supervisor. If you drive too fast or don't have control of the steering, you can cause damage to property, buildings, fences, and vehicles. It's okay to walk behind the mower until you learn to control its weight, speed, and turning. If you try to ride too soon, or if you don't have control when you ride, even as an experienced mower, you can cause serious injuries and property damage. Needless to say, all of the above can cause damage to the mower as well. Damaging a client's property can be a very costly mistake. At very least, you might lose the client. At worst, you could be looking at extremely expensive repairs and even lawsuits. Be vigilant and be careful. The Husqvarna V500 stand-on mower is an effective and durable machine. Like all other mowers, it works best if you respect it, look after it, and use it properly. Remember, practice is important. Learn how to use it safely and don't go too fast. For more information, consult the owner's manual or talk to your supervisor.